Hey guys, welcome back to our podcast, Specializing in Nothing. I'm your co-host Omar Reyes, and this is Carlos Perez, and we're going to get right into it. So our first topic, or the only topic for this video, is the NBA, things going on in the NBA. Kick us off, Carlos.
Oh, wait, the injuries, right? LeBron James out indefinitely, along with Anthony Davis, who's also out indefinitely. And then LaMelo Ball fractures his wrist and is also out indefinitely.
He's out for the season.
No, he's pending, I think. It's going to be 4 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why it says indefinitely.
All right.
But, yeah.
Big injuries in the last week. You got to feel for the Lakers. The West, especially kind of like where they were in terms of their rank, they're gonna slip. Because I mean, they've already had 2-3 losses in a row since the injury.
Something like that.
I know
think they've only played one game since his injury. He got injured against Atlanta, and then they played last night was the first game without LeBron James that they played.
So yeah, no, it's gonna be tough.
And I think they got smoked by
they
who
did
played
get
against.
smoked. They did get smoked.
But yeah.
So they're gonna and I know the West is real tight right now, so they're gonna drop a lot if they can't get it together. And I mean, people, I've been reading people saying that they should have had a third kind of all-star on their team. They were putting too much on AD and LeBron, and just because they won the chip that way, it seemed like they were gonna just run it back, but things like this happen, and now you see both of them out. And AD's been out for a minute.
Yeah, AD's been out for a while with that tendinosis. I mean, the Lakers have a lot of depth on the team. Trez and Dennis Schroeder and Kuzma are probably going to have to shoulder the load offensively going forward. Yeah, I mean, it's without LeBron James or Anthony Davis, it's a really mediocre team.
Very.
Yeah, it's a lot of vets. So, I mean, they're built to win, but it's just without those two guys kind of steering the ship, it is not looking good. Then you go into schedule-wise, LeBron's looking to be gone 2 to 4 weeks if that heals correctly. No setbacks or anything like that. So let's say that's about 15 games. The schedule up ahead is very rough.
Super.
They play the Sixers. They play the Nets. They play pretty much every. They play
every top team that you can think of right now.
They play the Knicks. That's a L automatically.
Of course. The Knicks. I mean, even if they had both AD and LeBron, that's an L.
That's an L. But yeah, then they play Milwaukee. They play the Jazz twice. They play. The schedule up ahead is really rough. So
yeah, it's looking
if they
pretty
can.
Bad.
Hopefully stay the course and maybe go 500 till LeBron gets back.
If they can go 500 till LeBron gets back, then they have a chance. Anything less than that is just going to put them in.
They play some also mixed in with those good teams. They do play some mediocre teams. They play the Raptors, who are looking to trade Lowry.
Come to the Knicks, Lowry.
Sacramento Kings.
Just come to the Knicks.
Miami Heat. So they play some teams that are struggling. So maybe they can get.
The Heat recently have started to play really well. Earlier in the season, they were struggling a lot. They were under 500 for the longest, and now, correct me if I'm wrong, they're over 500.
They've lost 4 straight, so I don't think you would call that really? Playing good basketball.
Well, it's the Heat. I don't really pay attention to the Heat.
They're still at 500 right now, but they have lost 4 straight. Tyler Herro's been a big topic of conversation because he's shooting miserably this season. But yeah, Miami. So like I said, they're playing some mediocre teams mixed in with some solid teams. So hopefully they can squeak out maybe a 500 record.
I mean, again, they are a mediocre team without both LeBron and AD. On the other side of that, you mentioned it already. LaMelo Ball having that a fractured
wrist.
The report I saw said that he was out for the season, but if you're saying he's indefinite right now, then.
It's indefinite. It looks. I mean, when it comes to fractures, 2 to 4 weeks is always the thing when it comes to fractures.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if it heals,
they'll reevaluate him in 4 weeks, and he could possibly make a return this season if everything is all good with his wrist. But I mean, the team recently started playing extremely well, so it's kind of tough to see. They're kind of getting their bearings, so it's kind of tough to see LaMelo really leave like that. But this wasn't a win now team by any means.
No.
So. No. Now they're looking to ship out Devontae Graham, The Knicks are apparently in the Devontae Graham sweepstakes whenever that happens.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, man. And also same thing with the Lakers. They're looking to trade players too. You know, there was the whole thing with Andre Drummond. If he gets bought out, he's more than likely coming to LA. So I mean, that solves some of your problems. It's a 20 and 20 guy at night you'll have on your team if you do manage to get him.
Yeah. I guess my question to you would be, with LaMelo out, you know, for these 4 weeks or longer, you know, how do you see the Rookie of the Year conversation going?
If Anthony Edwards keeps playing the way he's playing, I definitely think he's going to go to Anthony Edwards. Okay. I mean, outside of, because the way ESPN has been sucking LaMelo off lately, and don't get me wrong, completely warranted. He's a good player. Yeah. But I mean, you got Halliburton, who's been out there hooping. Anthony Edwards, the last 5 games, is averaging 35 and 2 or something like that.
Jesus.
He did the third youngest player to score 40 points. Anthony Edwards not too long ago. So I mean, it opens up for those two guys, I guess, to be the front runners for that. I mean, also Emmanuel quickly in one of their little Rookie of the Year reports where they do the rankings, somebody had him at number 2. So I mean,
I don't think
quickly could possibly get it as well.
He doesn't play the minutes necessary to even be in the conversation.
I mean, like I say, he's number 2 right now, ranked.
I mean, if that's on the official list, somebody has him as 2.
We will see.
Then we'll see.
I think he has. I mean, like I said, we'll see what happens with the Knicks, what they trade away, and if they trade away one of the point guards, that's going to open up the floor for Emmanuel quickly.
Who do you think is on the trading block for the Knicks right now?
The usual suspects. I think Frank, Kevin Knox, definitely a big one on that list. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Austin Rivers, if anybody wants him, but he's going through the health and safety protocol because he was with his daughter when she got born. I think that's really all the pieces. I mean, Taj Gibson, if somebody wants him, but I doubt that. I think those are the only movable pieces you have right now. Unless you wouldn't do that. Yeah, that's the only thing you could really trade. And then obviously Elfrid Payton would be another person that you could ship away because you still have Derrick Rose and you got Emmanuel quickly. So I think those 4 guys are probably going to be gone come tomorrow, technically, because 25th is the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen, though, because I feel like we kind of talked about this previous NBA episode about how, you know, why it's kind of tough to kind of make a move right now because the Nets are going to be so dominant for a long time. So. Yeah. And a lot of these guys that people are wanting to get, Oladipo, Bradley Beal, are going to be unrestricted free agents next year. So, I mean, just play well, show that you're a team that's on the right path, and maybe you can attract one of these guys
to come instead of trading away.
I do think you should trade away Kevin Knox just for something because he's going to be gone. Might as well get something out of him. He's contributed nothing. Same thing with Frank. Their rookie contracts are up. Get rid of them. Try to get either a pick or, you know, get a Devontae Graham or a freaking... I mean, Oladipo allegedly is a young player to pick, a first-round pick. That's the asking price for Victor Oladipo. So possible. You got Kevin Knox. You got young guys. It's just what else do you have to add to that trade? But
I mean, we'll see what happens.
I doubt that anything happens for the Knicks because I'm a Knicks fan and nothing ever happens to us.
Yeah. Last kind of person that I want to talk about when it comes to the NBA would be KD. KD has been out for, 24 games, 25 games, something like that. And we're not hearing, correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't heard anything about a possible return anytime soon or anything like that. Do you think that whatever it is that's keeping him out is more serious and might have to do with that Achilles? Or is it just, are people kind of blowing it out of proportion and thinking that the Nets are keeping his injury under wraps, or do you think it is actually something more serious? Because he's been out for a while now.
I mean, they're probably just nursing it, man. You don't need to rush him back. Your team is, in first place or tied for first place right now without him, so you don't need to rush him back. It's the hamstring. That stuff can get a little testy if you pop that. So, I mean, apparently this thing says he's at a critical point in his hamstring rehab. I don't know what that means, but wherever he's at right now is very critical. And Yeah, there's no timeline for him either. Same thing with like AD. Those guys are superstars. You don't want to rush them back. And
Of course, you wouldn't want to rush
what
them
happened
back.
with AD? What
It's
happened with KD
more.
last year? Or not
It's
last year, 2 years ago.
more. Yeah, it was like 2 years ago now. It's not rushing them back. It's more kind of having the information in terms of, what is the extent of their injuries. More. I feel like it's that more so the, having them come back. Especially obviously the Nets don't really need him right now. Come playoff time is more important to have him if you want to have just a dominating record going into the just sweeping the playoffs. Then that's something with KD on your team. Obviously, you need to kind of have him work out with the team again and kind of have some type of groove with the team when you have him come back. So I feel like when it comes to the Lakers, obviously it's a little more pressing. I feel like obviously LeBron is going to come back before AD. But again, it's kind of like having that information. Are they withholding information from the public, from these superstars? Because I feel like when it comes to the superstars, it's a little more like important. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was quite a ramble.
Yeah.
Sure, maybe they are. Who knows? You don't want to worry. At the end of the day, it's a business, right? You don't want to. The goal is to make money. So for some of these guys, you don't want to, have people not show up or lose faith in your teams and ticket sales go down. Blah 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 blah. So you want to, if it is serious, they want to keep it from the public. That way, the public doesn't get worried. Like, oh my God, is my team not making the playoffs? Blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? Then people don't cop those playoff tickets. That's very important. And they're expensive.
They are.
So
I've looked at some of them.
But I mean, yeah, this is just gonna force the Lakers to make a move tomorrow. They're gonna get an Andre Drummond. They're gonna get somebody to help them out, just for the meanwhile. And then when these guys get back, you got an extra piece for the playoff run. It's just I wouldn't want to give up too much because they're saying that Montrezl Harrell's on the block. They're saying that. Marcus Gasol, I don't think they really need that much, but he's on the block. And a bunch of other guys on the block. So they're looking to make a move. So I think they definitely are. This definitely forces Jeannie Buss's hand to do something right now. Yeah. And I mean, and all these guys are allegedly getting bought out that haven't got bought out yet. Is kind of slowing a lot of this shit down too. NBA is a mess. Yeah. But shout outs to my Knicks for winning last night against the Wizards.
The Wizards. And we're playing them again tomorrow?
Possibly. I don't know. I didn't look at the schedule.
It was today the 24th. Yeah, they play tomorrow. So let's get over 500 again.
Yeah, that'd be nice. We'll see what happens. Nice. I mean, I think we can. We could beat the Wizards.
You know what? And congrats to Coach for having the same amount of wins, or exceeding the amount of wins that Fitzdale had in like 60 less games.
I mean, it's that's not saying much.
It's not.
But congratulations. Also, Loki, Chris Paul hitting the 10,000 assist marker.
You did?
And Carmelo Anthony hitting the 27K mark, slipping into 11th place all time. Interesting stat on that, which I talked about another thing. Carmelo Anthony is the only person in the 27K club that doesn't have either an MVP or a championship.
I don't think that's a good. I don't think he'd want that.
That's pretty crazy.
It's crazy
to be. Yeah, it's wild because everybody has either an MVP or a championship.
That is crazy.
And then we did it again for Chris Paul. In the only 6 players that are in the 10K club, only really 2. Well, technically, only really one of them has a championship. Jason Kidd kind of got one with the Mavs that to the twilight of his career. Mm-hmm. But the other guys in there have no championships.
So, a lot of assists equals no championships.
I guess, unless you're Magic Johnson. But you could argue, is he really a point guard? You know what I mean? He was something more than a point guard because he can guard every position on the court. 6'9", freaking nature, all that bullshit. So I mean. Same thing with like LeBron. Is LeBron a point guard? Is he a forward? So I mean, technically, it's really just kind of one. If you really think about it. It's wild numbers. But as for Melo, I think he was just a victim of the era he played in, right? He played with the Spurs, the Lakers, all those guys. Then you go out east, and LeBron out east. So I mean,
LeBron just dominated the East for the better part of like a decade.
Yeah, so.
Oh man,
this poor guy just played in a bad era. And then as for the MVPs for Melo, you only had that 1 year with the Knicks that he got one MVP share that took away from LeBron's unanimous MVP. And once again, just the influx of talent in the league is what kind of just held Melo back. When he came in the league, it was Kobe, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady. Then when those kind of guys moved on, you have D Wade, LeBron James. Mm-hmm. So like he was just victim of the era he played, and kind of like the guys who played against Jordan, right? You couldn't win a chip because Jordan was stopping you every year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we're gonna end this here.
Yeah, that just like I was just thinking about it right now, and I'm just like, damn, that's really crazy. Like, Melo was such an exceptional, talent, and he really doesn't have much to show for it in his career.
Like Olympic gold medals, 3 of them, I believe. I think he's still the Olympic leading scorer. Pretty sure he is. I don't think anybody passed him.
For now.
What else? Obviously, multiple All-Star.
But that's crazy.
1-time scoring champ.
One time for the one time.
That's all I could think of for him. I mean, definitely a couple All-NBA second and third teams. I'm pretty sure. I doubt a first
more,
team.
Whenever you think about it, you always the things that always stand out are MVPs and championships.
I mean, first ballot Hall of Famer without a doubt, though.
Yeah.
All right, so that is it for the NBA episode. I know this was just chock full of energy. We will catch you guys next time. We love you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that beautiful stuff. Stay beautiful. And yeah.
Yeah.
That's that.